Hey, Mech Warriors, welcome to Bad Ben's Battle Mechs. I'm Bad Ben, and today I wanted to give a quick review of this book, Battletech IlKhan's Eyes Only, which came out just a few days ago. I don't know the exact date, January 2025 sometime. The book costs $19.99 in American dollars for the PDF version, and I am doing a PDF version review today, specifically on the PDF version. 1999 is actually the exact same price as the BattleTech Universe book that I did a review of a couple of days ago, and actually thought it was awesome and gave a really great review. Um, so when you buy this, you will immediately be able to download it, and you will get a zip file which contains two PDFs. One will be a map. It's actually two maps of detailing the region around, Terra, the area in question, where pretty much all of the events in the book take place, and you will also get a PDF of the book itself. You will only get one version of the book. When I got the Universe book, there are two versions. There was a single printed version where you just had one page right after the other, and there was a double printed version where it showed two pages next to each other, which was really great for the really big double page artwork. In this book, I don't think there is a lot of big double page artwork or big double page maps or anything like that, so it really doesn't actually make too much of a difference that you only get the one. But yeah. So that's what you get. And this is the front cover of the book. A really nice picture. I like that. That's pretty cool. Some mechs battling it out. Then this, and then that, and the table of contents, which is the next thing I really wanted to talk about. Unlike the Battletech Universe book, this does not have the great addition of you can click on the things and it takes you directly to that page. That's something I would rather see on more PDFs. I really like that when I can just go, oh, here, formal out, click, and then I'm on the page. You could do that in the Battletech Universe book. You cannot do that in this PDF. Other than that, the PDF itself is fine. The maps are very detailed, so you can zoom in very close and read the names of every single planet quite easily. There's nothing wrong with the PDF specifically. So that brings me to the contents of the book. What is this book like? So, I have to preface this by saying not everything in Battletech is for everyone, And this kind of source book, it's not really for me. If you enjoy reading very dense history textbook style books, then this is your book. I'm not going to say it's bad. I personally didn't really enjoy reading it. I didn't find it super compelling to read about every single planet that the Capellans took and who fought there and who they fought against and how the battle went, and then move on to the next planet and talk about some space battle that took place here with different people, and then the next paragraph, yet another planet that they took from some other ones. And for the most part, that's how this book reads. The very first thing you get to in this book actually is a short story, and it's a really good short story. It actually, the short story got me hooked, and I really liked that. But it doesn't really continue like that. It turns much more, like I said, into a history textbook. Now, I know that there are people who do enjoy the very detailed um, history and knowing exactly what happens. And this book is for you people. That is what kind of book this is. This is a source book. This is actually the first source book I've ever read. And I can say I don't enjoy source books so much, but I can't say necessarily this is a bad source book. It's a good source book. It's well written. It's well edited. I didn't find misprints very much, if at all. The it's very very detailed, um, and you can't knock it for that. Um, it it definitely has some interesting parts for sure. The main first section is like the detailed events about Clan Wolf, and their. I feel like I can say this without spoiling too much. I think you should know this. Clan Wolf is on Terra, right? I'm gonna get to a spoiler section later on, but so right now I'm gonna try to not spoil it too much. So it talks about Clan Wolf and them on Terra, and it talks about other people, the Capellans specifically, and what they're doing, kind of against Clan Wolf. I don't feel like that's really spoilers. I feel like most people know that is the general idea of what's happening. Um, and it goes through that part in grueling detail um, for a very long time. After that, you get to a section of other things happening in the inner sphere, which is actually almost more interesting than what happens with the IlKhan. I think it's shorter, more condensed versions of like, oh, this happened and this happened, not like, oh, this battle, this battle, this battle, and that planet was taken, blah 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 blah. So that part was actually a little more interesting. You got to read about what happened to your favorite faction during this time. What were they up to? What were they doing? Maybe uninvolved really with the rest of the IlKhan scenario. That's really cool. And then at the end, it gives a rules section on how to play campaigns, kind of based in this within this scenario, within the IlKhan age, with new rules for different groups that are present within the book, and that's really cool too. I really like that. I always love, that's my thing. I like rules. I'm a big rule guy. The lore, it's it's okay. I can read some of the books. This is a very lore heavy. This is the lore book, and that's not so much my thing. So there are definitely elements in here that I did enjoy. The main part, like I said, reads like a history textbook, right? So if you're into that, then this is an awesome book for you. Yeah. Cons of should I start with pros? Yeah, it's well written, it's well edited, it's extremely detailed. It talks about every faction. There's something in here for everyone for sure. Um, it tells you what happens with the wolves and the Capellans and all that too. Plus all the rules. So those are all good. I almost said cons. Pros of the book. Cons. Uh, yeah. Okay. It's not easy to read. um, that's a bit. That's it. Yeah. It's not easy to read. But like I said, it's not my thing. Um, Another con is the story in general and how things play out and how it's written and what happens. For me, I can only say for me, huge con. Like monstrous con. It's I'm going to get to that here soon when I talk about spoilers. What else? Alaric Ward sucks. that's that's a con of this book. I hate Alaric Ward. Um, just in general, because I don't know, I don't like him. I don't like the wolves. I don't like the clans, and so on and so forth. So there are a few cons. To really understand the cons, though, I think I'm going to have to start getting into spoilers and talking about what it is about this book that really actually irked me. So we'll do that now. From here, if you don't want to know what happens, if you don't want anything to know, you got to turn the video off now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye. But now we're going to get into a spoiler section of this book. Okay. This book, the story, what happens is. It doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't. It's like, okay. So let's start at the beginning. It starts with a great story, a well written story that I liked, and it grabbed me and got me hooked about an insurgency happening on Terra, the beginnings of a rebellion, right, against the wolves. It actually starts before the wolves have even beaten the Jade Falcons, um, and so you have these rebels, and then it continues after the story, while they're going through this history, it definitely talks about the rebellion who they don't want to live under clan rule. And so when the story begins, Alaric's forces are like decimated from having to destroy not only the Republic armed forces, but the Jade Falcons as well. And they're in disrepair, and that and then this insurgency blows up on the planet, and I'm reading this and thinking, yeah, man, this is the kind of thing I can get into. I like Alaric. This Alaric's great ambition is really going to come and bite him in the ass, and I felt like it had good parallels with today, of great empires trying to claim territory and then finding that the much smaller empire who really values its freedom is really a force to be reckoned with. And I thought, oh, wow, that's cool. And then that's not what really happens. Basically, the wolves make a few concessions to, they like cultural concessions to the Terrans. They say you don't have to live like under, the clan caste system or something. You can kind of keep going and just live normally. And to me, that felt like if I was watching Return of the Jedi and Luke Skywalker turned to the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, "Wait, I think we can make some concessions." And Luke Skywalker's like, "All right, I'll hear you out." And then they shake hands, and then they go their separate ways. Imagine if Return of the Jedi had been that, if that had happened. you know and Luke Skywalker goes on to live with his buddies, and the Empire continues to rule in a brutal manner. That's what this felt like. Like this insurgency, just people turned against the insurgency when they started killing civilians, and then the wolves made the concessions, and then the insurgency was gone, and Oh, that's perfect because it was just in time for the wolves who, like, okay, the whole beginning of the book is talking about like what desperate situation the wolves are in. They're battered and bruised from uh their fight with the Jade Falcons and the Republic. And I haven't even mentioned this. Oh yeah, they're cut off because the Capellans, they're cut off from the rest of the Wolf Empire and can't be resupplied. They can't get new warriors. They have no Sibcos to draw from, and things are desperate for the wolves. And then they reach a deal with the insurgents, and the insurgency stops just in time for them to take all their forces. So, okay, now by this time, the Capellans have surrounded Terra completely. They've taken every world. They fought the Draconis Combine. They fought the Free World League. They fought everybody. And they've taken all these worlds, and they're holding on to them. And Alaric's battered and bruised, barely holding on wolves jump out of Terra once they've got control of it. And then wipe out the Capellans completely. And that's it. And like, okay. They just destroy the Capellans. They win every battle on every planet for no apparent reason. Why? Like, where are your battered forces? Where is the lack of reinforcement? Where are all where are all of your mech warriors all of a sudden coming from? Why do you all of a sudden now have enough forces to wipe out the entire Capellans who took every world around Terra? Like, and easy. Like, there didn't even seem to be a problem. Every problem that Alaric had, just like didn't apply anymore. And I felt like, okay, they didn't even say like he jumped out of Terra, met up with the rest of the Wolf Empire, completely resupplied his troops, and got new mech warriors, and then went and destroyed the Capellans, which also would have been dumb. No, that didn't happen. It didn't matter. He didn't need that. He didn't need reinforcements from the Wolf Empire. What are you talking about? Is Alaric. And he just wiped out the Capellans. And in the end of the frickin' whole thing, so Alaric, like, the last part of the story reads like, and then Alaric won the whole day and created a brand new Star League. Good for Alaric. Good thing he's there to do the things that we need. Like, what kind of horse? I don't want to swear. What kind of trash is this? Like, I thought that this was going to be like, it's going to, like, he's going to face real hardships and it's going to be so difficult. And his great ambitions and his ridiculous ego is finally going to meet its match. And, maybe the Star League doesn't work. Maybe that'll come in the next book. I don't know, but I felt like it really should have come in. Like, it didn't. It just didn't make sense, man. How the hell did all those wolves just? It really read like, then the wolves left Terra, and then they won every single battle against the Capellans, who ran with their tail between their legs. Oh, and then the Ravens nuked a capital city and probably killed the what's his name, Daoshin Lao, and the other Cinderella. I even forget her name. They're probably dead, Well, they say probably, so they probably aren't dead. But it's just like, oh, if you like the wolves, are there so many fans? Are there so many wolf fans that Catalyst is just like, yeah, we better make the wolves win because they're like everybody's favorite. Everybody's going to be pissed off if the wolves don't just win everything in a ridiculous fashion. It just didn't make sense, man. It just didn't really make sense. Nothing nothing had any effect. The insurgency didn't really have an effect. The fact that the Capellans took all the planets around Terra didn't really matter. The fact that the wolves were completely cut off from the rest of the wolf empire and couldn't resupply, just that didn't matter. Didn't really matter. All right. So that's my review of BattleTech IlKhan's Eyes Only. I'm pretty disappointed in the book as a whole. It just makes like the wolves are just like a Mary Sue at this point. They can't lose. And yeah, so that's it. That's my review of BattleTech IlKhan's Eyes Only. Not a good one. I like if you want to know what happens in extreme grueling detail, buy this book. But if you're a fan of the wolves, or like the clans in general, the Sea Foxes and the Raven Alliance, they do great. They do great. But like, why is yeah? Are they the good guys now? I know BattleTech doesn't have good guys and bad guys, but the clans, they're awful. They are the bad guys. The clans are the bad guys. And this is oh my god. And then the people of Terra at the end of the book were actually happy to be on the winning side for once. They made some remark that like, oh, maybe the insurgency isn't as, calmed down as they thought. Maybe. All right. But in this book, the insurgency didn't matter. It made almost no difference. It won them cultural concessions. All right. So, yeah. I have nothing to say otherwise about this book. That's really it. So, join me next time, hopefully. Have a good one. Bye-bye.